What is up, gamers, trenchers, degens, Solana enjoyers, World XYZ speculators? Welcome to another edition of the Solana Circuit. We're on Solana Circuit number 31. We're pretty excited about this one. If you are here for meme coins, unfortunately for you, this will be a very research-based stream talking about the future of tokenized stocks, RWAs, and our friends at Birdeye, who are doing some very cool stuff on the research front, token data front, and very excited to have this conversation with them. But before we get started, uh, David, how you doing today, brother? You told me you have a little bit of a headache. I know you're kind of on the struggle bus, but how we hanging in?
We're doing all right, man. I'll make it. I'll make it. So, a little bit of headache. I think I don't know. I'm sure you're probably getting it way worse, but it is super hot and humid. I live right on the river, and anytime we get like these massive temperature changes, it just messes with my head, man. Um, but yeah, today's supposed to be something like 97 degrees, feels like 109. So yeah, just gross out. But we'll survive. We'll survive. So this should be a fun stream, though. I'm looking forward to it.
Brother,
Um,
I live in Florida. You think you know hot and humid? It is like it's probably 103 degrees here on a daily basis. Like the feels like temperature, and then the humidity, just because it's Florida, like is already off the charts. So like the moment you step out the door, you've got sweat everywhere, even in places you don't want sweat to be. It's a horrible deal, I promise you. But I love the heat. I personally came from Midwestern America, and like I wasn't that into the 6 months of winter that they practice there. So I would much prefer the heat over having to scrape ice off my windshield and whatnot. So that's just me though. That's just me though. But anyways, we have DJ here with us from Birdeye. How's it? How's your day going so far, DJ?
Yeah, hi, hello, nice to be here. I'm DJ from Birdeye, and talking about the weather, the place that I'm from, it is very tropical, and the heat wave here is crazy. Like I've never been to Florida, but I was in the States doing my college, and I think I've never been to places that is more extreme than Hanoi, in Vietnam. The humidity is crazy, the heat is crazy, and the rain it's also a little bit crazy too. So I don't know if we have like a extreme weather competition here, but I can um I can assure you that if you survive Hanoi, you can literally survive anywhere. Seriously.
I
Yeah.
believe it. I've definitely heard that about that area of the world. I haven't been myself, but I would say maybe I should come visit. But I mean, it kind of sounds like maybe I shouldn't.
I think the best time, well, see, the Hanoi has a good 2 weeks among the year, which is autumn. So it's like the weather is cool, you have a light breeze, and it feels great. The humidity it's acceptable. But if you're lucky, you can get to Hanoi during those times. But if you're not, then you can get extreme heat or extreme cold in the winter. So yeah, we have like a running joke in our office that you should put surviving Vietnam's northern weather into your CV when applying because that means that you can, literally survive everything.
That's crazy that the weather gets so extreme there, like with the cold and the hot. I thought Vietnam was like usually pretty tropical throughout the year. But you're saying like even in the winters it gets very cold too?
Well, it's not like snowy cold. It doesn't go below zero freezing point, but the chills you get, I feel like it kind of resembles what I feel in Massachusetts during like the peak of winter. It's like the wind chills that will make you feel like you're burning your hand. So I think at some point in some years, in some extreme years, Hano will give you that feelings. The weather in the north is not as it's more extreme than the middle and the south. So if you go to Vietnam, you will probably get recommendations to go from the middle to the south because it's near the beach. You can enjoy the beach, and the weather it's feels less extreme. Yeah.
Very nice. Well, you're not like the UK where like most of your country doesn't have air conditioning, right? Because I know the
No, no, no.
UK's they've also had a heat wave and it's been pretty bad for them, mainly just because they don't have air conditioning.
Yeah, we won't survive without AC for sure. Like we usually have like over 35 Celsius degree in the summer, so if you don't have AC, you won't survive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just cannot fathom not having AC living in Florida. Like literally,
Yeah.
I would just be in a pool of sweat all day and like you couldn't sleep. Yeah, no, no thanks. I'm good. The UK can keep its no air conditioning to themselves. They can enjoy that to the fullest as they
Yeah.
please.
For sure, for sure.
So
But
is most of the team then located in Vietnam then, or from Birdeye,
It's
or
actually
where are you guys
all
running
of
out
the
of?
team. Well, all of the team is actually based in Vietnam. So we have an office in Hanoi where most of the teams is here. We have a few people in Ho Chi Minh City working remotely. But yeah, the office is pretty cozy and nice. If you ever visit Hanoi, welcome to our office. We have free coffee.
Great perks, great perks. You got Nate sold already.
I will jump right on that. I am a coffee fiend, so 100%. 100%.
Yeah, yeah. Our boss has picky coffee taste, so he only buys like the top tier.
Our our Vietnamese community manager who helps a lot with managing the Riker community. He's in Vietnam as well, and he talks a lot about salt coffee, which it's
Mhm.
literally just like salt in coffee, right?
Well, technically yes, but also they don't just put salt right into the coffee. So you have the coffee base and you have the cream base, and the cream is actually salted cream. So the concept of salted cream is pretty popular already, but mixing it with coffee just give it like a very fatty, creamy taste. And that originates actually from the middle of Vietnam. Yeah, in the north, we are known for egg coffee, where you whisk the yolk, the yeah, the yolk with the coffee and to make that creamy texture. So it's different from regions to regions.
This is very interesting. I've never thought about putting eggs in my coffee. Huh.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty easy to do. You just need to whisk it in a very consistent way to make the texture of the foam. I can send you a YouTube tutorial after this. We're very proud of that. I think that's one of the most interesting coffee in the north, in Hanoi specifically.
So if you guys were to ever launch a coffee line, would it be called Bird Egg Coffee? Sorry, I couldn't resist. Terrible joke,
That's
but
yeah, I'll sit on that.
But yeah, definitely send me the recipe. I'd love to check it out. I'm also a coffee snob, 100%.
Mm.
I wear that like a badge. But other than weather and coffee, welcome DJ to the stream. You are on the Birdeye team. Could you tell us a little bit more about your role at Birdeye, what exactly Birdeye does, and how you got involved there?
Yeah, so Birdeye is a data platform for Solana and EVM ecosystems. We started with a retailer-oriented app called Birdeye.so, where users can come and check on all of the newly launched tokens, checking their price, their every little details about the tokens and all of the wallets trading them. And after the successful launch of Birdeye.so on Solana, we expand to other EVM chains, and we'll also expand our product lines into Birdeye Data Services, where we provide REST APIs and WebSocket for builders. And most recently, we launched Birdeye Peak, an institutional data platform, much like a Bloomberg terminal for TradFi analysts who would like to jump into crypto with a familiar user experience. And my job in Birdeye is head of research. I'm leading a research initiative where we consolidate data that we have into insights, and we paint pictures of the industry with thesis-driven flagship reports and insight articles, understanding where the market is going, what on-chain data is telling us, and yeah, so that's pretty much what I do. I actually started Birdeye a little bit more than a year ago, so I'm pretty new to the team. So the product started 2021, which is like it's about 5 years old now. I'm only 1 year old, one Birdeye year old. And previously, I worked in the Polkadot ecosystem, working also as a research lead for a wallet team in the Polkadot ecosystem, where I also write research reports and market insights about what's happening in that ecosystem as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, I remember back when like meme coins were first starting to be a thing. That was Birdeye was like kind of just like the go-to place for everybody to kind of check out what was going on there. But now that you guys
Yeah,
are expanding more into like institutional data and stuff like that, that's not just meme coin focused, right?
exactly. Yeah, so memecoin is still a thing, right? We still serve retailers who want to check out the chances, but we're also expanding because I think we're actually seeing a trend in the crypto industry industry as a whole, where we taking a step closer to TradFi. With tokenization, with real world asset growing very fast, that's why we decide to expand our data offerings and provide more access to TradFi clients.
Very cool. So you guys initially got started on Solana, is that
Yeah,
correct? And you guys
exactly.
started around 2021, so you guys started basically as soon as Solana became a thing. Um,
hmm
what was the initial draw for you guys to Solana versus other ecosystems?
Our co-founders were actually in Solana way before Birdeye, so they were working at Solscan. And Solscan was like the go-to explorer for Solana, right? So they were in the product team, in the back-end team. We have like four co-founders who were like a complete team at the beginning. And the reason why they moved out of Solscan and built Birdeye is that when the meme season started, they figured out that in Solana there's no um, platform that can offers the traders the experience and this similar to what like dex screener is offering on EVM size, right? So if there's a new coin launching, there's no way to get their prices, to get their information, get their liquidity and whatnot. And with their experience in Solscan and their understanding of Solana, they broke out of the Solscan team and founded Birdeye. So that's the whole idea of why Birdeye came to be. And even though we expanded to EVMs and other chains as well for the past few years, I think Solana is still the sweet home of Birdeye. Our data offering is most heavy and most comprehensive on Solana, and we still continue to serve the Solana ecosystem, just like the first days.
I just realized I just understood David's joke about the bird egg. Like I didn't get it.
Wait until you catch her response joke. We'll give you another 10 minutes. It's fine.
Let
I
me
don't know if you
sit
remember.
on it. Sit
Yeah,
on it. Oh, okay.
yeah.
I'm way off, guys. I'm way off of this conversation. Wow. I did not connect egg, coffee, bird. Okay. We're past it. I got it now. It's funny. It's funny now.
Sounds like you need some coffee.
I have, well, actually, on coffee, Starbucks released their s'mores line of coffee, which is just sugar in a cup with espresso, and it's great. And that's what I'm drinking today, but I guess it doesn't have enough caffeine in it. So I'm kind of boned here. But no more sidetracking about coffee. Um, so you're on the research team. You said you initially were doing research for Polkadot. Um, I would say, compared to a year, 2 years ago, I feel like the state of crypto research has kind of changed. You mentioned that crypto's kind of changing into more institutional, more like serious, more RWAs and things like that. How has the landscape of crypto research and like crypto researcher jobs changed over the last 2 years? Like, how would you say you're spending more of your time as a researcher? Like, where does that time allotment going?
Um, I think I think we have moved a lot from just explaining things, like crypto natives terms and like explaining what the protocol looks like and how things function. And we shift from that into how the market is growing and what is the perspective of this industry moving and exploding with the participation of TradFi. And what I mean by that is that, the early days of crypto research, it's a lot about, oh, there's new technology, there's this new L1, and we want to know what this does. There's this new design of AMM that is superior to Uniswap. What do we want to know about it? And I think with their onboarding of more retailers and institutions into crypto, we have moved away from that and into like use case discussion. For example, like what does stablecoin payment look like, and how are we gonna adopt that into the masses and make crypto invisible to the naked eyes and just make people use it, right? So I think that's where the data plays a more important role in crypto research, because you don't just read the docs and then explain things like I'm five anymore, but you actually need to use on-chain data to tell a story, to follow a narrative, and see if adoption is really happening or if this is just wash trading, or um, do people actually use it as much as they claim to do on Twitter? So yeah, I think data has been playing more and more important role in crypto research, and we see a lot of M&A in crypto research companies. So like Blockworks acquiring Messari, we see Allium getting like several series of investment. So I think more, um, like people with big bucks are betting on crypto research in crypto in data analytics in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned something that that Nate and I like to talk about a lot, which is making sort of the backend infrastructure like invisible.
Yeah.
So that because I think for the longest time you were right where we were trying to kind of just explain the ecosystem, like, hey, this is why it's important, this is what staking is, this is what it means, like this is what a stable coin is,
Hmm.
and then kind of moving beyond that to, okay, how do we bake it in so that, like, if crypto is really a superior system, which I think we're all here because we believe that to be true,
Hmm.
then it should just be able to fit, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
where you would just download an app or use a company's product or service, and it's not a crypto product or service. It might run on crypto,
Hmm.
but the user
Hmm.
shouldn't ever really have to even know that necessarily if we're doing our jobs right.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And yeah, the key word that I forgot to mention in my previous answer is abstraction. So there has been this, massive move into abstraction, into not of the question like how do we educate users to understand private key or like seed phrase anymore. I don't see that discussion a lot um, for the past year, I think, compared to 2 or 3 years ago anymore, especially because I worked in a wallet team and we have to explain to users every day about the importance of keeping your seed phrase and private key safe. But there has been a lot of abstraction effort in order to make crypto essentially invisible, and to make the technology stand at it as it is, right? Like the underlying layer, powering and I mean speeding up execution, or making this less, making this more private, et cetera, et cetera. So we need it to be the infrastructure that powers it without the retailer understanding the in and out of it.
I think that's why you see a lot less like crypto wallets and infrastructure front end business to consumer products show up in crypto nowadays. I feel like it's kind of
Yeah.
shifted to crypto products have to make products that are better than their TradFi counterparts in every single way.
Hmm.
Otherwise, they will not succeed. We've
Yeah.
seen so many different crypto wallets just, shut down recently just because
Hmm.
using a crypto wallet by design is more friction than someone using like a banking app or a Robinhood of the world to trade stocks or crypto with. So
Hmm.
it's a huge shift, and it's a shift for the better, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm in crypto every day, and bridging is still a miserable task for me. Like I have to go to a specific
Yeah.
protocol. I have to click a bunch of buttons. I have to approve a bunch of
Hmm.
buttons on my ledger. Like
Hmm.
it's just it's terrible UX. And if we
Yeah.
really expect the next billion users to come to crypto, this is not the way it's going to work. So
Yeah.
completely agree with that take, and I think we have to abstract the crypto away in order for it to be successful. I'm sorry, my cat is on my lap.
I don't think you should be sorry about this. This makes me very happy, at least.
This is Ellie.
Yeah.
Hi, Ellie.
Oh, hi.
Aw,
She
adorable.
likes to join me on my meetings sometimes. People say she's a
Yeah.
big cat. I'm not sure why.
I mean, she does look kind of big. I don't know. Maybe you're just small.
How?
You're not small. I've met you in person, man. You're
Yeah.
not small.
She has a small head, and that's why people think she's a big cat, but she's she's just big boned, I think.
Well, I have this I have the I share the same feeling. I have a cat too. She's sleeping, so she's not disturbing me at this moment. But my friend came over and she was like, "You're this is so big. Like you're so fat." And I'm like, "She's not fat. She's athletic. She's muscular. She's not fat."
I think
Yeah,
it's a parent's eyes. Like you
exactly.
see your children as fitter than they may appear, I suppose.
No, but she's not that big. I think she's cute.
Thank you. Thank you. She
Yeah.
appreciates that as well. Um, but the point I was getting to is, I guess I did already make that point. I guess that's a terrible segue into my next question, which you guys very recently released at Birdeye, which was your Solana H1 2026 report. I assume you had a hand in creating that.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Awesome. Could you share like any big takeaways or surprising data that you guys pulled up or discovered in this report?
Yeah, I think one of the very interesting thing that comes out of that report is that despite terrible market condition, which I think we can all agree on for the first half of 2026, I think Solana has matured to the point where it has great retention. So Solana, continues to be the go-to venue for everything trading on chain. So you have like Solana spot DEX volume accounting for more than 50% of the whole industry, and Solana still leading the industry in spot DEX volume. You have Solana's tokenized stocks breaking more than $2 billion trading volume in June only. And you have like foreign layer one tokens like Hype having volumes on Solana higher than centralized exchanges. And you also have like Solana delivering better execution than centralized exchanges in Sol USDC trades, and the edge appears to be expanding to other pairs as well. So I think the thesis that Solana holds and has been pushing for the past year, which is the internet capital markets, right, where you bring everything, every tradable, ownable assets on chain, and you have it on Solana, and people will only need to go to Solana to do everything they need to do, which was previously only feasible on a centralized exchange like Binance. And Solana is pushing it very hard, and I think we've seen success. in that narrative to date. And and yeah, I think that's a good thing, right? That's a positive signal that we have going into the second half of 2026.
Yeah, for sure. I think this also goes back to a little bit of what Nate was saying, where he's like, like bridging is a miserable experience, right? And in some
Yeah,
ways, like going even between like centralized exchanges and then onto pick any chain, right? That also kind of feels like bridging. It's kind of a similar flow. It's like it's annoying to, you gotta get this wallet key. It's not all just in one place. So I think like this has always kind of been the narrative or the mission of Solana was, NASDAQ on chain was like one of the big like key phrases, I guess, if you will, even
yeah,
from the early days of Solana, and to see it kind of coming about and coming into play is really really cool, and it just makes sense, right? Because it's like you don't want to bridge, you don't want to have to go all over the place to do like trade over here and then lend over there and all these other things. It's like why not just put it all as close together as possible? Like that just seems like a no
yeah.
brainer. So
Exactly. And you see that previously Solana was, well, what people would call a meme coin casino chain, where everything on Solana, every trading volume is from meme coin. But the meme coin market share has declined significantly from 2022 to 2025 and the first half of 2026. I think if you cut out like the outliers days where there's like a hot meme launching, meme coins only would account for like 20% of all spot DEX volume on Solana, and the rest you have is like tokenized stock, is like foreign layer one volume, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other tokens that like blue chip, if you will. So I think that it's very significant in the way that the ecosystem has matured out of the user adoption phase, right? And it goes into user retention phase because for memes, you trade and then you go out of it. But for tokenized stocks, for example, I think the user behavior would be more sticky because well, stock itself, it's not as speculative as meme coin, if you will. So, I think that's the sustainable way going forward, and the ecosystem is doing very well.
So I know you do a lot of research into RWAs and tokenized stocks.
Hmm.
Have you seen like an increase in demand for tokenized stocks, at least on the retail side? Because for me personally, I don't trade stocks as much as I should. I trade
Hmm.
crypto and lose all my money. Um, but is there any data that shows that like normal people like like us are going on chain and actually trading these stocks?
Yeah, actually, the unique holder count of X stocks, for example, one of the biggest on Solana, right? Is has been on the increase from for the past year, the 1 year that they have been on Solana, and that's unique holder, right? Not just like returning holder. And I think part of the reason why tokenized stocks is appealing to retailer is that, for example, in the US and the UK, you don't have much barrier trading US stocks because you have Robinhood, or in the US, you are totally legally able to trade US stocks. But for third world countries like the Vietnam, for example, you don't have the proxy to own and trade US stocks like Apple or Google or Amazon or whatnot. So I think tokenized stocks really open the gateway for um, users in countries that don't have traditional access to blue chip stocks, for example, in the US and in Europe. And I think one of the signals that tokenized stock is like a real thing, rather than just narrative, is that recently Binance also launched B stocks. So if like they launch tokenized stocks, there's really this um user demand from their side that, oh, if I can trade on Solana, I, who is familiar with trading everything on Binance, wants to have that option too. And also, like, you see, stocks are happy, like SpaceX, for example, launching on Solana the same day that it landed on Nasdaq, right? So I think on-chain demand is real, um, but there is more room for expansion and development, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think we definitely all agree with that. It's cool to see the data backing that thesis up, though. I'm curious because I know that like this might have been more like on the meme coin side of things, but I know you guys have like this smart wallet like tracking feature, or like you can kind of tag
Mm-hmm.
wallets or like kind of try to figure out where the smart money is going. I'm curious
Yep.
like how you guys measure that, and if that's kind of what you're seeing as well going into like these tokenized RWAs, or is that just something that's more just like for following meme coin traders?
Yeah, so the smart money that we have, the idea is that there is these wallets with high win rate and consistent realized P&L profits, for it to be exact, and um, and they have high win rates across many tokens, and that's just one lucky trade. So we flag them as smart trader in the sense that they seem to know what is the good entry point and what is the good exit point. Um, they would normally accumulate gradually at the low price and show up early on multiple winners. Um, the honest framing is that, well, even the smartest trader can make mistakes too, right? And the smart wallet is the confirmation signal. So not it's not like a blind command. So the right way to use it is you pair it with the pair wallet signal with a liquidity check and security check before acting. Um, for the questions on tokenized stocks versus meme, I think the filter applies to old tokens, like there's no flags or tags on like this is only for meme coins or this is only for other tokens as well. The only criteria is that they have high win rates across a lot of tokens. um and But we see more of these on the meme coins and traditional crypto side, rather than tokenized stocks. That's just observation.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, for one thing, the meme coins just move a lot more, right? But
Yeah.
I was kind of asking because I wonder if there's a world in the future where that feature gets used almost so that people can, al- almost like like you would think of like a robo advisor or something like that, like that you would have in a traditional finance like portfolio.
Mhm.
That like maybe like some kind of aggregation of these smart money like wallets or traders specifically like targeted at maybe something that you might look like a bit more like a retirement account or something like that. You know what I mean? Where it's like maybe I don't want to be
Yeah.
buying into whatever today's hot new meme coin is because again we're talking about liquidity checks and all these things because that's sure you can do that but again we're talking about trying to bring the next kind of wave of adoption and let's be honest like my grandma doesn't want to do that right
Yeah.
so yeah I'm kind of curious if you see like a world in the future maybe where something like that's possible.
Yeah, I think totally possible. I think um eventually people just want to get profit on their investment, right? And I think the more adoption that crypto gets, the more reserve, like people on the more reserve side of investment. Like I only want, like, I don't know, 5 to 4% or at most 10% of interest on my um investment per year. I don't want like 50, or I don't want like X 100. That's like too risky for me. I don't have an appetite for that. I think we'll see more and more of those people entering crypto, and your idea totally makes sense because people who have like low risk appetite would appreciate having like account who only invest in blue chips, or who only invest in like uh very, like not low cap but like very high cap tokens with less risks. So yeah, totally makes sense to have that in the future. I think that's a great idea I can pick up and then pitch to the Birdeye Pick team. Yeah. I'll
Cool.
credit you for
Just,
that
I was gonna say,
if
just
that
tag me
gets
or something. I
accepted.
don't know.
10% commission on that idea. You gotta make that bag, David. You gotta make that bag. Um, going back to the H1 Solana report, you guys talk about, you know, this cycle for Solana versus the last two cycles feels very different. So
Mhm.
what is your thesis? Like why is this cycle different from the last two that previously happened?
I think it goes back to my point about Solana pushing the internet capital market thesis. So the previous cycles you have is meme coin reviving the ecosystem but this cycle you see that it's institutional funds and institutional participation um, entering the ecosystem and making Solana the on-chain Nasdaq. I think that's a very ambitious vision, but I think that the ecosystem is doubling down on it and pushing it. Um, and it also brings back to my point that this is a more sustainable way of moving forward because memes are very short-lived, and you can't have like hyping over and over and over and over again. But sustainable capital comes from institution and comes from apps and companies really making money and really making profit of their own product, right? Not just speculation, not just community hype. And I think the cycle and we see that even in the bad market, in the very bear moment of this cycle, Solana is still doing very well because the users and the capitals are very sticky. And and that points to the fact that we are building a very strong foundation for whenever the next cycles arrives. And so I think this is a very important moment for Solana to build up its momentum and then capture the institutional capitals and the next wave of users. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. I would love to get your take. I know you say you've done research on Polkadot. I assume you do research on other chains as well as Birdeye has kind of spread its wings and gone to other
Hmm.
chains as well as Solana. What are you seeing that other chains are? I don't want to bias this question towards Solana, but what would you say like other blockchains are lacking that institutions are looking for that Solana has?
Yeah, if I have to be really honest with you, in terms of real world asset total market cap, Ethereum is still superior compared to Solana. So if you look at the market cap by chain, you see that the most of the capital is still on Ethereum. I think partly because Ethereum has that OG mature guy kind of vibe. And if you are on Ethereum, you have that kind of, how to say, like you are somehow official. You know what I mean? Like because Ethereum is like you're the first one who have smart contract. You're the first one who just kicks off all of this, flourish of apps on chain. So I think institutions goes to Ethereum for the kind of official status. But if you look at the on-chain trading volume, I think Solana is having an edge. One, because Solana has a very kind of active retail community who is used to high frequency and high velocity trading. So you have anything on Solana, you know that there's a community who's like willing to trade it and willing to adopt it very easily. Whereas on Ethereum, I think they are more kind of reserved Maybe, I don't know, because previously the gas fee has been like a pain. And that's why, Solana got to capture that wave of meme coin because we have like better speed and lower fees. So yes, Ethereum is still like a big thing on in terms of reward asset, and a lot of capital is deploying on it. But I think Solana is aware of it, and Solana is trying to capture the remaining market share. For example, previously you can only have tokenized gold on Ethereum with Paxos Gold and Tether Gold, but you recently have Paxos Gold on Solana via Sunrise, right? So Solana is pulling that capital into its chain. The next one, I think, several layer twos like Base and Arbitrum and maybe Optimism. Optimism is like a bit good on the payment side. I think those Mantle maybe. I think those chains. I think for some time they have been quite slow and not aggressive enough, I guess, in BDing, in pulling institutions in and pushing this narrative that this is the best chain to deploy capital on. I think they missed that kind of moment, and that's why they are a little bit behind in terms of this competition. Um, but yeah, I think we are actually, this is a very good question because in 2 weeks we are launching RWA H1 2026 where we are viewing reward assets on different chains, and we have like different chain archetypes. We have Ethereum as like the institutional um, capital, verified kind of chain where you have everything has to go to Ethereum first before deploying on Solana. But we also have Solana as the high velocity trading chain where it's poised to capture most of the volume because of its flexibility, low fees, high speed, etc. And we have Hyperliquid as the perps chain, obviously, no questions there. Um, so yeah, I think different chains have different theses, but I think the very important thing is that you have to make sure that you know what your thesis is. And I think Solana has that thesis very well anchored, and everything just follows that thesis. Like every BD efforts, every community efforts, every partners that they want to pull into the ecosystem, they have to follow that thesis. And it's I think it's doing very well.
For somebody who wants to like think about kind of these things like holistically and kind of create these sort of theses or identify them, what are some of the tools that Birdeye has to kind of help people like do the kind of research that you do, or to kind of like look at some of this data and where the money's flowing, where it's going, and then try to figure out why?
So I think Birdeye.so, it's a great tool for onboarding. You can just search any token and you see the basic metrics, and then after that you can go a little bit more deeper inside what is actually driving these metrics, right? You can on Birdeye you can for a token you can find the traits that is behind that. Buying, selling, adding, or removing liquidity. You can see if there has been, DCA happening on this token on Solana. On Superchart, I think one of our less used feature, but it's very powerful, is that on the Superchart view, you can stack up different charts relating to that token. You can see holders as relative to price movement, as relative to liquidity or market cap or supply movement, or even CBD as well. So I think that's the entry point for users. And if you are like a higher tier user who wants to snatch into APIs, we have more than 70 APIs readily available on different pricing tiers, free available also, so that you can probe into the APIs and do your coding magic and get the data that you need. readily in front of you in your preferable kind of UI. And also, and if you want to have a more like a Bloomberg terminal, command-driven kind of interface, and having access to more data on-chain and off-chain as well, you're welcome to sign up for the Birdeye Pick closed beta. Of course, because it's a closed beta, we will approve case by case. The product is not, very complete yet, but we're adding data to it day by day. So we actually have options that cater for every type of users that you are, either if you're a retailer or you're a developer and or advanced user who uses API, or if you are an institutional analyst, a researcher wanting to probe into data in the type of like charts and dashboard, you can go to Birdeye Peak. So actually we have like a bunch of options for you. Yeah.
On the API side, it's never been easier to just say, "Hey, Claude, go," or Codex. Sorry, I know Nate's on a Codex kick.
Yeah,
Go figure out
for
how to
sure.
hit
We
this
have
API and show me the thing I want to see.
yeah, we have MCP too. So MCP makes our API very friendly to all LLMs. So you can just plug it in your Claude or your ChatGPT agent and have it read it all for you.
Yeah, that actually kind of leads me to my next question. We're working in crypto research. Have you been using tools like Codex or Claude to kind of accelerate your research? And if so, what has that kind of done to accelerate the research and increase the output of like reports that you guys are able to do?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, I'm not outside of the AI wave these days, as much as I want to. So, so yeah, I think as a researcher, I use data from multiple sources, not just Birdeye, to have like a full picture, to compare and contrast wherever applicable. So I use Claude to build my own internal monitoring dashboard, pulling data from not only Birdeye but other sources as well, so that I can see the movement more readily in front of my eyes. Previously, without the help of Claude, I think that would take like a back-end developer, a front-end developer, maybe like product and designer, so like the whole team, just to do like an internal monitoring dashboard. But I don't have to have that many people. I just need to, tell them like tell the Claude, tell Claude that, hey, I want to build this dashboard for tokenized stocks, daily volume on Solana, separated by issuers. Give me that dashboard so that it can pull it for me and update in, maybe 4 hours or 24 hours. Uh, yeah, so I think that has accelerated a lot of my research effort. I don't have to pull data by hand anymore, and like play with the data. I can spend more time playing with the data rather than doing the hard work of pulling it and cleaning it.
Yeah, it's such a massive unlock, and thank you, David, for giving Codex the spotlight. I don't know, Claude ever since 4.6 has kind of been slop for me. I've really enjoyed using Codex. Mythos/Fable is supposed to come back out today, but I guess they have a ton of
Hmm.
safeguards on it, and we'll see how extreme those safeguards are. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see how that does. But I use AI a ton. I'm the community lead of Raikou. I use it to build a bunch of like Discord bots and different automations to make my life easier, to make the community's life easier. And just the sheer amount of data you can pull using like an
Hmm.
API key from Helios or Birdeye, like it's
Yeah.
shocking. And it opens up this data to so many more people. And it's really cool to see. Um, like not having to understand, how to read through technical docs. Like I could just plug in an
Hmm.
API key and I'm off to the races. Like it's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that also poses a challenge for crypto research as well, because previously it's for better or for worse, a little bit of a gatekeep, right? So only researcher get access to those data, and only researcher gets to tell the story with that data, and then people just have to consume it and or digest it. But now with I think that opened access to a lot of people, where, as you say, they have access to all of the data and they can just check the data, right? And just build their own thesis or narrative. And that, in a way, kind of diminished the role of a researcher in the industry. So I think we have to do better with this, AI wave. We have to, tell better stories, or I think make the data make sense in a better way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now that the bottleneck isn't just like you said, like the pulling data was never really super well. At one point, it was super hard, but for the most part, it's
Yeah.
the cleaning part that's the annoying part. But
Exactly.
now that that whole step is gone, which holy shit, I used to be a quantitative trader, so pulling data sets and cleaning them was just like pulling teeth. It's miserable.
Yeah.
But where was I going with that? Oh, but there's still, I think, a ton of value in just knowing where to look because, like, you still have to tell the AI, like, what is important. It'll do what you tell it, but if
Hmm.
you're telling it, like, "Hey, compare these 2 things," that really, the comparison isn't gonna help you with anything. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
then the output's
Yeah.
still not gonna be that useful. But I think there's still definitely, like, a lot of room for the people with the kind of the context and that sort of, almost like experimental or question-oriented mindset,
Hmm.
I think, because
Yeah.
that's not something, at least for the foreseeable future, that I think AI can replace. It can just make you a lot better at getting to the answers.
Yeah. Thanks to that, I'm still in business.
Well, that's like I like to take the not so doomer take on it, which is like, instead of AI like taking everyone's jobs and whatnot, it's going to make the people that are already familiar with these niche specialties 100x better at their jobs and 100x able to perform research. Like, and maybe instead of researching one thing at a time and it takes you several weeks, you can research 10 different things at one time and produce the same
Hmm.
quality of output that you were before. Um, at least like I create a bunch of things with AI. Like I vibe code a ton of things, and
Hmm.
I don't have any coding experience. Like that's not something I'm familiar with, but I've always been familiar with computers, IT, things like that. Like building actual infrastructure like that makes sense to me. I just don't know how to code. So like being
Hmm.
able to put ideas into motion and like build the actual infrastructure for the ideas I have, like that's something I can do now in a much less short time. Like I'm sure I could learn how to code, but I'm also too lazy to do that. So it's like
Hmm.
it's definitely a trade-off. Definitely a trade-off. Um
Yeah.
so another thing from this article that I wanted to call out was I lost my question. In the meantime, were there any other interesting things to come from that Solana H1 article that you wanted to call out? While I try to find my browser tab because I lost it.
Yeah. We see that Solana's perps growth rate has outpaced Hyperliquid's um in the same
Oh.
period. Yeah. I think that's one of the very interesting things that the whole ecosystem is very proud of. Because we all know that Hyperliquid is like the giant monster of perps in the whole industry, right? And um, and I know that there has been a lot of discussion on why is Solana so slow on this perps war. And Vipul at one point was like, "We're not slow. We're catching up. We're here." and and even with the drift incident, I think this number shows that the ecosystem is really moving forward in terms of perps trading on Solana compared to Hyperliquid. And also, it all ties back to the idea that, well, if you want perps, you don't have to go to Hyperliquid now. You can do it on Solana, as well as all of the other spot DEX trading that you have been familiar with. Um, so yeah, absolute number is still very much below, but the growth momentum is very significant.
That's actually insane to hear because everyone on crypto Twitter knows that Hyperliquid has been absolutely dominating perps. Like it felt
Mhm.
like this racehorse that no one else could ever catch up with just because their product was so good. But what you're
Yeah.
saying is Solana's caught up, and in some
Yeah.
ways they're beating them. I mean, that's massive. Is this data before or after Vibu did this massive perps competition with like this Hyperliquid trader?
I think this is, let me check the chart. Um, so this is for the first 6 months of 2026, and I think Vippo stated somewhere around like March or April. So there has been momentum, and I think Vippo, if he stated within this year, it means that he has some evidence backing him, right? So it's not like I'm bluffing on Twitter that this is gonna be a big thing, but I'm actually seeing momentum driving this vertical forward. Yeah, I think it would be very interesting to see what Perps protocol and Solana will be doing in the next 6 months.
Yeah, because I mean, we've got like JTX, Bulk, although Bulk's like debatably on chain because it's kind of a little bit different. But and then Drift relaunch. I actually just got access to their beta. I haven't checked it out yet. But
Hmm.
yeah, so a lot of cool stuff
Yeah,
happening.
we
And then of
also
course
have
like
like
Phoenix and whatnot.
Phoenix. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are coming up on time. Is there anything else that you wanted to tell the audience? And also, where do we find you? Where do we find Birdeye? What should we be doing?
So you can find Birdeye on Twitter. We have two accounts actually. The first one is Birdeye SO, and the second one is Birdeye Data. So Birdeye SO is for everything retailer, and Birdeye Data is for everything developer and institutions. So we post about APIs and research and data on that account. So you can follow both of us. And yeah, we do product release every 2 weeks or every month. So follow us and stay updated on all of the new features that we will bring out on our retailer app and our new APIs also. So there's a lot of things happening. I actually told Nate before the recording that we have 50 people working very hard in our office because we have 3 products running, together, and we have releases very frequent. So just yeah, give us a follow on Twitter.
So if you're a trencher, follow Birdeye_SO. If you are a developer or someone very interested in the research end of crypto, follow Birdeye_data.
Yeah.
But follow
Thank you
both.
for the shout. Yeah.
Follow both.
Yeah, we constantly retweet each other, so you won't miss out.
Love it. Love it. Well, DJ, this has been a fantastic conversation. We really appreciate you coming on for the hour for the Solana circuit. Everyone go follow Birdeye_SO and Birdeye_data. The Twitter handle is right below in the stream template. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And we will see all of you for the Raikou Town Hall on Friday, which we are having a special guest, I
Yes,
believe.
we are we are having one of our two lead engineers. Which one of them has not been confirmed just yet, but we will be having an engineer on the coming on the town hall to talk kind of about what they've been up to because I know it's been a while since we heard from them. So definitely looking forward to that. You guys should tune in, and yeah, until next time, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much again, DJ.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.